Hello everyone, I would like to introduce to you a new deck archetype for the day, a deck that I've been on relatively consistently. I've brought it to a couple of challenges, a couple of cups, and it's probably going to be my main deck for the next little bit. Zoroark, Dusknoir, Zekrom, Reshiram. It's a lot of things, but it's my version of Exodia. You don't need any of the new traits from Ascendant Heroes for the Ice Cream Cone and the two trainers to give you that turn 1 win, or that 1 turn win, I guess. But you need to play your cards properly, and you know your matchups, and you need to do your best to win with the pieces on the board. You want a deck that can do a bit of everything? This is what I would recommend for you for this format. Allow me to introduce the deck a little bit to you through talking about inspirations, the core concepts, the metagame analysis itself and a few common lines, my current list and some relevant thoughts, and my list outtakes for the future. So, what is Dusk Zoro? Why am I here? What am I doing for Dusknoir Zoroark? We are prioritizing board management primarily. In particular, Shaman and Psyduck are both common techs right now, but no list runs both. Psyduck is on the down low in recent tournament results. Shaman is fluctuating, but the existence of Greninja is making it a little bit more problematic. Dealing with both is relatively difficult to do, and even the new Petrel that just came out in the new set, it's annoying. It's not going to affect you very much, but it's annoying, and it's just another thing that might be sitting on a bench. Pokemon Search is really reliable this format. People are going to be getting out one thing they want, not always both, and you are going to be able to churn out a very reliable engine on some archetypes that have built-in draw. Built-in draw is also hard to come by right now. If you can find your outs easily, you're going to be able to have a very cohesive deck, and there's not a whole lot of prerequisites you need in order to get enough, in order to get what you want for a turn. In addition, I wanted a deck where you don't need to keep thinking of if only, if only. It is a deck that can theoretically do everything and always have something to do. So, we're going to talk about resource management a little bit, because that's what this deck is here for. It is all about keeping your win conditions online and being able to do something. It is able to be flexible, but it is able to have optimal lines. It is a deck that turns answers into checks and can answer any given card at any given time. You have Shaman on bench, Dusknoir kills it. You have a Psyduck on bench, Darm can get rid of it. If you have a heavy HP Pokemon inactive, Mochi plus a damage modifier plus Rampaging Thunder for 320, or with Bomb for 330 or more, depending on what is needed. There's always some line to get somewhere. As long as something hits, you will get an end outcome. And that's what we're going to be trying to do. You can scale up to the key number of 320, and you can spread damage. You can destroy a field before it even pops out. That is the goal of the deck. You don't even need to fully DPS and fully clear a field. If your opponent commits a Shaman, a Psyduck, or a Rabska, or whatever, the rest of their field is weak. Target it, power it down, use those big attacks from your 2 big dragons, and take down their field the old-fashioned way, with them having so many liabilities on their bench that they don't know what to do with themselves. So, common lines. Let's talk about Pult a little bit, because there's a lot of Pult right now. Against pure Pult and Dodun and even Hammers to a point, there is no bench protection in any of those lists. They are all very keen on trying to get themselves set up, keep themselves consistent, and just really churn through their deck. Ultimately, you can just gust around and get all of their high priority targets early, or you can go for a Bomb Darm turn on any given turn of the game. Against Chicken, they run mid-candy, no duck. You can still use Dusknoirs to pop their high-value targets, their energy targets. You can use your other dragons in order to kind of get in cheap shots wherever you can. And you can keep your energy line low and consistent, and just keep applying pressure to them throughout the game. You have your big burst with a 250 Rampaging Thunder plus Mochi, plus Grav Mountain, you're going to get to your end outcomes anyways, so you have a lot of ways to get to your damage ranges, and especially if there is no duck, even your baby Dusclops is going to be able to get you to your damage ranges. You can also, in this matchup, technically use Pecharunt to actually charge up to a big swing, plus a Dusclops or Dusknoir or a Gravity Mountain to get to your damage ranges. And in addition, against the Duskbolt, they don't earn any protection, and they need to churn out their field really wide with a lot of versatile options. If you're able to maintain your tempo, do adequate flame body damage or adequate Dusknoir damage, they're not going to have a wide enough field to sustain enough attacks from your big attacker. Now let's talk about Crustle and friends. Crustle, you have your Scratch plus Mochi off of your baby little crab, plus Dusks, that's enough to do Okos. Shred hits 110 with Mochi, so if you're able to pair in a Dusk with that, you're hitting 160 into a lot of options. And then you also have backdraft ranges. If you are able to use Darm plus a couple of charged energies off of your End's PP up, you're able to do enough damage after knocking out one Crustle, because they have no recovery, to normally take a couple of good knockouts into the Crustles. Into Kanga, Reshiram plus a little bit of a hope and a prayer can normally get you a long way, because they're never going to be able to Oko you outright unless they're really lucky. And you can also technically hit your damage ranges with Mochi plus a Baby Dusk, but wouldn't always recommend it. And into Cornerstone, you just have Shred. You have so many Shred options, just go for it. And if you need to in early game, Zorua can level damage to get you into perfect damage thresholds for your Shred attackers. Festival Lead. What style of protection does Festival Lead run? That is the big question. Shaman, you bomb, then you Darm. Psyduck, you Darm spam. If they have both, you're able to outcycle them with a 1-of Darm with Backdraft and your regular Zoroark swings. Regardless, they're not going to be able to hold either enough attackers or enough setup to deal with both of your aspects of game at all times. And if they run Rabsga, just be faster, or again, try to weaken their field. You can pop Bomb onto the baby Relor, and that is a way to kind of keep it off the field, since most lists won't run Forest and Festival. And if they are, unfortunately, not much you can do. Regardless, keeping Reshiram online, it gives you a good pivot against their first swing, and it generally just means that you're not going to have that much damage on your other Pokemon. It keeps tanky. And I would also recommend to be wary of Blood Moon, since Blood Moon is slowly having a rise in prevalence. Try to preserve your bench space for Zekrom in late game if possible. If not, that's okay, you have bomb routes to get there, but just try to keep in mind that your opponent has a lot of options, and that you need to be very responsive to those options. For that reason, this is a matchup where you would really like to see it in best of 3, in best of 1, not so much. How about Raging Bolt? It is a race to eternity. You can Zekrom Bolt, Reshi Mochi can get the rest of the damage as well. Mochi Dusk will Oko anything, even Mochi Dusclops will Oko almost everything on their deck. With the Reshi or with Zekrom, so you have damage ranges into everything. You can pressure with Backdraft in mid-gaming if you need a middling option, or if they set up double Hoot Hoot and you're going for an aggressive Backdraft play, or an aggressive Flame Body play. In addition, 2-2-2 prizing will favor whoever gets that first 2, and you can normally keep your field to 1 prizers until the turn you're able to take a 2-prize swing because of your baby Dusk. Your baby Darmanitan. So that is possible. If you prize Zek, Bombs plus Mochi will allow you to keep tempo until you can find it. If you prize your Zekrom and your Pecharunt, and or if your Saw blocked and Pecharunt is prized, you can fish with Dusk in order to take small chip knockouts, and you also run a bunch of Gusting. Hopefully that'll work for you. What about Grim and Starduck maybe? Psyduck is out of the meta right now, all things considered. Bomb into Darm is normally true into Grim and into Starmie. In addition, they can't really get 80 snipes with Starmie, so your Darm is normally safe. And you can hit your big damage ranges with your Bomb. 130 plus 250 is one of your ranges. Mochi Graph Mountain gets you to 320, which is another possible range. And you're able to do this really reliably. You also are going to definitely want Pecharunt for this matchup, just because dealing with Yveltal and Wellspring is difficult. Keeping your pivot options open will be nice. Let's talk about the list a little bit really quick. I'm on 4 Zoroark, 3 Zorua. That weird line is kind of just because of an availability thing, but it also means that you have a lot of Pokemon search in the deck already for basics. You don't need to worry about aggroing out your basics as much. You don't have as much evolution search. Big asterisk on that, so running 4 Zoroark guarantees that you get your trade train rolling. Shame and I have recently cut for another Poké Pad, but it is generally a very splashable slot, as I just picked it for a local metagame thing, because for some reason everyone is on Slowking nowadays. We have a 2-1-1 Dusknoir line in order to have a lot of flexible bomb options, including 1 Rare Candy so that you can Duskull the Dusknoir, pop, knock something out, go into Darmanitan, and turn 2 get your massive value. 2-1 Darmanitan to guarantee your Darumaka, and so that Darmanitan is eventually findable. 1 Pech, 1 Budew to slow your opponent down, 1-1 Zekrom Reshiram because you have so many other options, 1 Meowth, no Fez in order to guarantee that you get the supporter you want when you want, and no Fez because you have a lot of trades, you should be fine. In recent iterations of the list, I have cut down 1 Ends Castle and one of the supporters from the list to go up to more Dark Energy. I am currently sitting at 9 because Budew is miserable, but 8 is a much more healthy amount and I would recommend 8 instead. 3 PP up guarantees that you can keep your tempo, keep consistent, and deal with hammers a lot more accurately. 4 Poffin, 3 Ultra Ball is very reliable Pokemon search. Hyper Aroma was a placeholder. I have since switched it out back for Unfair Stamp, but if you're stuck on Aroma, so be it. You're stuck on something that'll help get your Pokemon out and guarantee a very consistent board. That is a-okay. Gravity Mountain plus Mochi is for all the damage ranges as stated before. Power Glass was a recent cut from my list because I found that 3 PP up and 8 to 9 energy was more than enough to sustain Zoroarks and backdrafts. However, it is a nice inclusion to chain Darmanitan, especially when you do have the ability to slow roll with Budew and chain a Dusknoir into Candy Dusknoir because you do run double Duskull. When it comes to the supporter line, 2 Boss, just enough to keep you in the game with control, 4 Lillie to try and get a good setup, and then a lot of 1-of supporters to give you a bit of hand denial, a little bit of setup of your Dusknoir and other Pokemon, a bit of consistent get anything you need, Brock scouting because I sincerely didn't have another Dawn, but even still, I found a lot of value in it, getting out Budew plus Pech, Darumaka plus Zekrom, or finding a Zoroark when you're on a bad hand, and 1 Petrel to guarantee your ace spec when you need it, off of your Meowth. And so, that is all I have from the list, and a couple of notes on what I would recommend to do with it in the future. With that, I would like to kind of reintroduce who I am for those of you who are new here. I am Kisapniaq. I have a Modern Regionals Day 2 from 2024. I know a while ago, but I only attend 1 a year, so that's pretty fine that I have 1 period. I do have a Regionals Top 8 from about a decade ago, and a State Top 4 from even older. I've been around for quite some time. I've received Ace Trainer in both of my seasons. I consider myself a rogue specialist, a deck builder over a player, and I am looking for a team and or sponsor if anyone is looking to reach out and get things working. With that, that is all I have time for today, and all I would like to talk about. If you want to see more, there's a gabillion links all available on screen right now to the YouTube, to the other streaming platform, to the place where you can hear me talk about just about anything in any context, and somewhere to reach out to me more personally, because obviously I'm small enough to where I can get away with that still. All of the links will be in the description, inclusive of slides, and I would like to thank you all for popping in and taking a listen. This is one of my favorite deck archetypes from the past couple of months, and I do think that it actually ages very well into the next couple of blocks. You have a lot of options for dealing with everything, with versatile spread, versatile targeted removal through Dusknoir, 2 very solid attackers in Reshiram and Zekrom in order to keep your chains going, and overall very consistent lines throughout every situation possible. I know I'm kind of lingering on this slide a little bit. It's kind of now at this point because I noticed that there's a flaw in the design. I will fix it for the slide deck, but you guys who have made it to the end get to earn a little bit of the what in the world am I doing and how have I listened to this person for so long. Regardless, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. And if you have any decks that you want to hear me talk about, please leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you.